A very good morning to you and welcome to Crack Alpha Live coverage of the PGL Major 2017. Day number 3 is ahead of us. Of course, yesterday saw a little bit of controversy, a little bit of drama, but don't worry, fans. We've flipped our coins, we've altered the monitor for Sponge, and that's right, we are ready to go into day number 3. Good morning, gents. How you doing?
Doing just lovely. The altered monitor is brilliant.
Good at that.
Yeah, disabled his monitor. Yeah. We've also installed Jason's graphics drivers, so we're all good to go.
Fantastic. I can see it working now.
Everything's running at a high level.
You've got a few more FPS there.
Yeah, just a few more. It's jumped up about 50%.
Let's just reflect back a little bit on yesterday, because a lot happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of it wasn't about the game. So I'm hoping today we can focus on the matches.
We've confiscated phones today, Paul.
Have we?
Yeah, we've taken phones.
Okay.
I've actually taken them all personally.
I heard you were going to run a social media course for the
I actually
players.
was. I'm going to do a seminar because I am a shining light on social media for those.
You are the example.
No, all right, look, that's all behind us. We did actually have some good Counter-Strike,
We
though.
did. That's the point, isn't it? We did have some good Counter-Strike yesterday. Some again, some surprises. Another good win for Big and taking out Cloud9. They're 2-0 right now, Jason.
Yeah, it's quite impressive stuff. And everyone's kind of seen, like, they just play like a fun like style of Counter-Strike. Like if you're a Counter-Strike fan, a Theory fan, you're going to love these guys. I think the analysts always really enjoy them as well, just because their individual players don't make too many mistakes. And now, yes, there's like the drama of some of the tactics they use, obviously the jumping glitch, and that's all been taken care of. But I don't think you can take that win away from them, especially against Cloud9, because their players were on another level. Even without that, I think they might have actually won that game. Yeah, I mean, you see the things Tabson does coming out of holes and everything like that. Yeah, he's unreal, isn't he?
When you were saying fun, then I thought we were going to like have some trampoline reference or something, to do with jumping. I'm glad you steered clear of that. But you're spot on. That the executes they had on that T side, right? They were perfect. Some of those Molotovs, you haven't seen any other teams do that kind of stuff. You have to credit them for the work they've done, for sure.
Yeah. I think the most important fact that a lot of players brought up, Olaf Meister I saw specifically do it, was the idea that it sucks that this is becoming such a controversy, because it's actually detracting from how much improvement Big has made and how much fun and how effective their style of Counter-Strike is. So hopefully we can get back to focusing on that instead.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I want to get both of your opinions on this very quickly before we move on to other teams. They're not winning matches because of this. This is not the only reason that they are winning against big teams.
They're winning rounds, which leads to winning matches. Sure. I think the overall concept of their T size against Cloud9, they would have won that game regardless, right? I think just the way that they approached that, it was fantastic to see. I'm not going to say one way or the other. I'm just going to sit on the fence. It's quite nice up here.
You got some sprinters on your
I'll
backside?
get off the fence a
All
little
right,
bit.
here we go.
I think the tough part is, so, for instance, the first time we saw it was just on cash, right? And then you're like, oh, it's a little bit, that sucks. Like, it just sucks that you can use it. But the fact that it's in every single map, in every situation, that's the worrying part.
Okay, but let's be real. They've been using this for a while. It's not something they just busted out against FaZe in the first round. They've been using it for months. Yeah. It hasn't been a controversy until they suddenly started coming here and it's part of the major. So
it looked pretty insidious, right?
Dude, I'm totally with you on that. This is the thing. Don't get me wrong, right? I don't like it at all. I think it's horrific. I don't even want it in there. But
it's perverse, the amount of situations that you can use it in, the amount of different maps and tactics it's been used in. So that's the scary part.
It's solved. Yes, so we're all good and we can move on.
All still mates, I believe, is
that's the hashtag of the week.
All still mates.
All still mates.
Yep.
Hashtag all still mates on Twitter right now. You can use it. We are still mates. We're going to take a look at the standings and show you where we are right now as we head into day number 3. Of course, teams now split into 3 parts because we've got teams at 2-0, 1-1 and 0-2. The teams on the left-hand side are in a really good position because they are 1 win away from claiming a place in the quarterfinals. Astoundingly, perhaps, surprisingly for many, is Gambit and Big. Perhaps not so surprising, the former champions SK Gaming. And despite the fact that they were supposedly in a slump, Virtus Pro are also just 1 game away from playing in front of their home crowd. On the right-hand side, however, their teammates from Poland also struggling a little bit on that side. Penta, of course, 0-2, Flipside 0-2, and astonishingly at this stage in the tournament, a team that we had in the top 3, FaZe, also 0-2, and Vega up against it as well. Just 1 win, 1 loss away from leaving the tournament. Jason, that's got to be the story so far, isn't it, FaZe?
Yeah, it's an absolute disaster for them, isn't it? Like the way that the amount they've dropped off, and it's not some like team level, it's on an individual level, it feels, where the lack of focus, lack of intelligent play out of these guys, which is so surprising with how good of players they have, how experienced of players they have, and how they've looked ever since Nico joined this team, and then since Cologne on, it's just been like night and day. This is a team that is just completely, doesn't seem like they have any concern, any attempts at the moment of trying to win games as a team, which is kind of causing their downfall, and it's just a shame, really. We had that very cool triangle coming in. This was going to solve all
I thought we had more than the triangle, mate.
Yeah, you
I thought we had a bit of a four-way going on there, but yeah, we didn't quite make it to that now with FaZe. I think it's just a mental thing, and I hate using that as like an out for teams, but that's what it looks like. They just don't look like they're playing Counter-Strike as a squad.
Got a chance to bounce back. Let's take a look at the schedule for today. You saw it briefly there. Let's bring it back up for you and show you, because FaZe do have an opportunity to get out of trouble today.
They got an opportunity to get knocked out as well.
But
Paul.
yeah, but I was going to say that because they play Flipside. It's probably not the draw that they would have wanted, is it?
Want to put a pie on it, Jason?
No, I don't want to put it on. I'm just saying it's an opportunity here, Chad. Let's not go too far.
Well-organized,
obviously, if you're FaZe, you want to get Vega Squadron in that draw, and that's not going to happen. But Flipside is the kind of team that can take advantage of some of those individual mistakes. Still, it'd be a tall task. It'd still be a very big upset if Flipside was able to do that. But there's always a chance, Chad.
There's been upsets 2 days in a row, so you're not completely.
We're going to get at least one today, surely.
Let's take you throwing around pies all willy-nilly.
Let's take you through the rest of them. Mouse Sports taking on North. Of course, we'll open with Vega versus Penta. Immortals Na'Vi is going to be tantalisingly interesting to watch. Yeah, we like that one. G2 Cloud9, equally, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Astralis versus Fnatic. This is kind of like the old champion versus the new champion. Virtus Pro versus Gambit. Those last two matches, by the way, will decide who goes through the quarterfinals at the first attempt. Virtus Pro versus Gambit.
That's my game of the day. That VP Gambit game. I think that's going to be absolutely sick. Yeah, that's going to be very, very good.
In quote, barn burner.
Yeah, I really do. Especially, I mean, Gambit has just looked pretty strong coming off of this like break where they haven't had a couple events for a few weeks, so they've had some time to prep. It seems like they've deepened their map pool, which is exactly what all the criticism was. Even when like they were looking good towards the beginning and the end of last year, the beginning of this year, end of last year, the criticism was always they're just not good in series play. They just don't have the map pool to compete in a best of 3. Now it seems like they've added into that. Another incredible game from Adren, which you love to see. I mean, he's been a monster at times. So I mean, it's pointing up, and then VP obviously the team you hate to love, and they seem to be back again.
You
right?
can't write them off.
Back.
It's the major, it's Poland. I'm going to keep saying it. You've got to believe. # believe. Right, let's get into our first series of the day. Vega Squadron, of course, up against it here. They're currently 0-2. A new set of lads that came to the major for the very first time. The only full team here that have no major experience whatsoever. And it hasn't been a good experience so far, has it, Jason?
No, not a whole lot. It hasn't.
We've all been there.
Yeah, it hasn't been that great. Chad, you have some experience with bad majors.
Oh, thanks. I at least have experience with majors, Jason.
And we're up and running.
We're flinging it around.
Day 3 is we're up and running.
Kicking in.
Look, to get 16-2, it's never fun. I got 16-1 by Kenny S.
You also 16-3 though.
I 16-3'd Flipside.
Yeah,
cop that. But to be in this kind of environment and stuff, and they are very young. You look at their faces; they're children, right? All right, they're still
the kids.
They're babies, right? And they have a lot to learn. They brought a decent brand of Counter-Strike in terms of the individual styles they have, but they're having a really rough road. This kind of game for them could be, where we finally get to see the real Vega. And I don't want to try and hype them up too much because they haven't performed to any decent level so far, whereas Penta have. But this is do or die. They're a caged animal right now. They have to come out swinging. No, actually, they're a shark. Can you cage sharks? I think you can.
You can. They don't like it.
I don't like sharks.
No, they don't like it.
They're the animals that die if you put them in captivity, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe they were caged. And now they're out.
And there's the reach. Yeah. No, but the cool thing about Vega is
good luck linking that one, Jason.
I know. We're just gonna move along quietly. The cool thing about these guys, I think, is they know that they don't have the structure and the experience of other teams, so they do have to rely on skill. And it's not particularly beautiful Counter-Strike to watch, but there is something very fun when you see someone like Mir or JR just out of necessity have the freedom and have to make plays because they do have a high level of skill. We saw some of the clutches that JR did against a team like Tai Lu. We've seen Mir. I mean, at the Eleague qualifier. Sorry, NIP fans, when they knocked NIP out of the qualifier, that was good stuff. And those two guys, I think, display a really cool amount of skill. And if you put them in situations where they can capitalize on that, they do exciting stuff. So I mean, that's kind of the strength.
And Mir's not had a terrible tournament, actually.
He had a good game yesterday, right?
A good game despite the fact that they got heavily beaten. And I also want to point out that they've had a tough road. Spinx.
Oh, it hasn't been easy.
This has not been a good draw system.
So they messed up the veto there.
Well, they did. Yes, that was kind of their own fault a little bit in that one as well.
Bit of a head scratch.
Let's move on and talk about Penta Esports, because for me, when we were watching the qualifiers, and you watch teams kind of evolve, don't you, as they go through these qualifiers, and then they go into the minors, and then they go into the offline qualifier. For me, this is the team that have done the best job of all, and yet, you look at them on paper and you think, well, they're all very young, all a little bit inexperienced. Very similar in a way to Vegas Water, but they've lived up to the hype.
The cool thing about Penta, because I had a chance to watch them pretty early on when they were at the Mountain Dew League finals, and they actually beat Big there in the grand finals 2-0. And they started out, I mean, you can just see the progression that they've made. And I don't know if it's Nasu, but they've done a very good job of like setting small goals for themselves. And now they're looking like a pretty decent tactical team.
We're going to get into the veto very quickly.
I think it'll be Mirage.
You think it's going to be Mirage?
I don't want to see any more Inferno. Let's give me some Mirage.
Well, no Inferno because Vega have kicked it out along with Cobble.
I think like Mirage, if it goes to Mirage, it'd be a really good map for a team like Vega because what they can do is it's very scrappy in a way and very retake reliant. And you can have a lot of scenarios like that, which I've seen them thrive before in the past. The problem is a team like Penta, on their T sides, they start with a lot of structure, right? They go out to those 7-1 leads. It wasn't like that versus SK, but when they play against other opponents, there we go. Look at that.
Good call,
bloody
Sponge. And I tell you what, that's really good for Penta. I've watched them play this map time and time again. They love this map. There's something about not all of their results go their way, but the way that they play it stylistically is so cool. And they've had success on it online, and everyone said, well, it's online, can't count. Then they did it at the offline qualifier, the minor, and you go, yeah, but the teams weren't that good. And then they did it again at the offline qualifier. Why are teams still picking this map against them or still letting them have it?
It's good for Vega too, I think.
It is good for Vega.
So Vega need to move away from the maps where they can get completely choked out, like Train and Nuke, for example, right? So you move away from those, you move to a map like where you can actually get the middle ground happening, your players can find room, find frags. Mirage is probably better for them in this regard. But just while we're, before we have to go, Paul, I want to give props to Zen. I think I was very harsh to him, not publicly, just in my mind, in the past, because he wasn't really contributing. But at this event,
you're apologising for something your mind said.
Yeah, well, look, I'm accountable. I'm holding myself accountable.
You had bad thoughts, and you're now apologising for bad thoughts. I love you so much, Sponge.
Should we get a priest?
We can. We can get whatever you want.
I don't know about a priest. We might need some sort of form of therapy going on here. Anyway, let's bring in Sir Scoots and say good morning to the man, the myth, and the legend, because he's got an interview for us.
Good morning, gents. Loving your banter already. It's fire up there at that desk. Love you, Sponge, especially. So let's get right into it. I got LK, also known as Alex, here. He's with the Vega guys. And as the guys on the desk just said, it's kind of do or die time for you guys. Obviously, you're bottom of this thing. You lose this one, you're kind of out of it. First major for the crew. So let's talk about that first. Like, how's the experience been? How's the pressure been just to be at an event like this?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like pressure for us because of the first real tournament, like World Championships and stuff. But I think guys don't have to think about this match being do or die or something. It can only be me who thinks about that. So, yeah, that's as for them, it's just a best of one. And you have to play this game, and no matter how it ends, we are here, enjoying the game, enjoying the atmosphere, and let's see how it goes.
When I interviewed you before, with VP, we talked about like Nuke got through, great map for them, and they showed you how good they were on Nuke. Now it's Mirage. Penta's played Mirage while they were here. They lost to, it was North that beat them on Mirage. You guys haven't played it here. How do you guys feel about your Mirage game?
I mean, it's fine. We had a discussion yesterday. So we kind of knew what map we'll play. So I would call it a plan, if you can say so. But yeah, let's see. Guys are prepared, so we'll see.
Any sneaky tactics you're pulling out as the possible last match? Sometimes the underdogs don't get scouted so much. No one watches your demos. They can maybe take you for granted a little bit. So do you think that's to your advantage? You can sneak some stuff in on Penta?
Yeah, I get your point. But we'll just play our game. I mean, all the rounds and stuff that we practiced, and let's see if it works against the Penta guys. I think they'll show us something as well.
Well, and they don't have a coach here. He's on vacation still. You're here, so maybe that'll be the deciding factor. You might be the one. Any pressure there?
Well, no, as all the tactical aspect is on the guys, so all credits to them, and I'm just here to cheer them up and to shout my loudest. That's it.
All right. Well, we'll be listening for you. Thank you very much. Good luck in the match. That's going to do it for us, Red Eye. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Scott. Yes, some interesting words there from the coach, the manager, the cheerleader. I don't know quite what his role is.
He said in the past that he's basically just the manager, right? Yeah.
Yes. But it's also, there seems to be a touch of realism there, Jason. They've basically said, look, we're just here to enjoy ourselves. We wanted to get to the major. We've done that. Objective achieved almost. A little bit defeatist, I guess, when you want to be positive. But at the same time, that is a realistic attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think against a team like Penta, you can let go a little bit of that realism. I mean, these guys aren't like world beaters. They're not some unbeatable opponent that you're going up against. Yes, they're they're better than you, and yes, they're the favorites in this matchup. But I mean, if you're Vega Squadron and you're looking at this tournament, you're saying this is one of the teams that realistically we should be able to compete with. We should be able to perhaps win this match. So, I mean, it's great having that realistic attitude. We saw Tengri with it at the qualifier and praise them because it's just like, yes, they're just here for the experience. They're here to bring that experience back to their region, see what else they can build from it. But with these guys, it's like, dream a little, live a little, get out there.
Dream big.
Yeah.
We like that.
Reach for the stars.
Talking about dreaming big, we've got some big names in the commentary booth this morning, so we're going to say good morning to DDK and James. Good morning, gents. How you doing?
Very good, thank you, Paul.
Looking
Ready
forward to
for
this?
some Mirage? Absolutely, yeah. I think this is maybe of the matches Vega Squadron had the most winnable match. So see if they can keep themselves alive then.
Indeed. All right. Well, enjoy this one and take us into the game.
All right, yeah, and it's really fun to watch Penta. I mean, obviously, Penta is one of the up-and-coming teams, really, that me personally, I've been surprised by them and pleasantly surprised by them on multiple occasions where I see them and I'm like, this isn't just a ragtag group of guys. They actually have a lot of teamwork. There's clear hard work behind the scenes going in there, and a lot of structure that's been built into the team. And they do their research. They try to figure out how the opposition plays. They try to run strategies, tailored against that. There's actually a lot of depth to Penta as a lineup, and obviously with likes of Sunny, some of the performances that he's been bringing, as well as the rest of the teammates. It's a scary lineup, and definitely as I think Jason put it pretty well on the desk there. Vega are the underdogs, but Penta are by no means unbeatable for them.
Yeah, but the good thing is I wouldn't say there's pressure on Vega, or I feel like Penta will be feeling the pressure more. I think getting to the major was a huge achievement for Vega Squadron, and it is a question of experience, which they don't have much of. So every match will be valuable, but Penta will feel like they can go further than the situation there are, even if that is just a case of score and not making it to the playoffs. So Vega will be playing with nothing to lose, but they've got some coordination. They've got good players on their team. We've seen a lot from Mir with the AWP, the few rounds they won on train the other day. He was a big part of, but I do expect more from them today in this matchup. The match will be on Mirage, if you didn't hear it earlier. So I think it's reasonable to say that the international team of Penta, representing 4 different countries, will be the favourites for this. But by no means is it, I think, a lopsided expectation. So, game should be starting soon. Who are your ones to watch, Dan?
I think JR should be a lot of fun as soon as he's able to get North into his hands for Vega Squadron.
Man like Prius.
And for Penta, I think yeah, you have to look towards Sunny and HS really to be the 2 big standout players. But we'll see how things go. We are kicking things off with a pistol round. It's of course Mirage, as you can see, which is a great map to start off the day with. Can be pretty fast paced, and already we'll see Penta starting to drift towards A with the bomb.
Nice. What was that noise?
I think someone knocked a pot, perhaps a slight collision.
So I haven't heard that noise before. I don't feel like it anyway. JR's top mid, and if he's running around, they should hear him from T-ramp. Maybe that will give them some more confidence. They've left CT open. They could go for a short plant, but there's a gap in the smoke. It's a forced smoke. The smoke is poverty, and it will cost them some very expensive smoke in the end. Bomb getting planted 4 short regardless. And I think they're going to go for a 2-man push into the CT area. That's what a no smoke would suggest to me in that region.
Yeah, Kishanda able to get a kill onto Crystal there, make life somewhat easier. And now CT Spawn has been also taken over here by Vega Squadron, so doing a really good job making their approach back onto the bomb, which is now can actually be defused. And in fact, the defuse is coming in. Sunny has to go for a sprint here to try to stop this from happening, but Hutchie will have the cover. And that will be the round there for Vega Squadron. Really nice retake there, very calm stuff from them, very methodical, 1 position at a time. And then of course, they took it with a few members surviving. So, Penta, I do wonder, again, as I mentioned, a team that has a lot of strategy, and a lot of tactics to go towards. If they'll have something for this second round with the bomb plant, indeed, it does look like that's the case.
Hutchie and I forget who it was now. Hutchie and somebody from the T side. They were dueling on the B bomb site for ages in that round, but indeed, time has passed to talk about that. Sunny with the AK and a bunch of pistols on the T side. We'll see what they have in mind for this one. One of those surprise buys when you get the bomb planted. Amir using the smoke as a brick wall to come out and take some players down before they can boost into the window area. JR's got to be careful about the angles he chooses to take. And that would be why Zen trying to rip his face off with that Tech 9. The bomb's still top mid for the time being. Hachi taken down towards B. That's going to stretch things, and you see Mir and JR retreating to Terra Firma on the B bomb sites.
Good push from Kishanda there into the Palace. The AK is still alive though, and Zen has picked up the UMP, of course, so weaponry-wise, Penta doing quite well. Bomb is making its way through the apartments now to find its final spot on that B bomb site, where JR is waiting with the scout, so should be a pretty difficult entry considering that do they have a smoke to throw for the balcony here? I guess they will not smoke this off. It's very unlikely they'll do so. So should be a shot or two for JR to get off here before he's punished. A real opportunity to just win the round. He gets a nice tag there, I believe. Or no, I think it was he that was tagged. And it looks like Penta will sprint into the B-bomb site. It's time to go, but they do lose their presence at short. With all the trades going on at the moment, it's very difficult to get this bomb planted. And Chopper will put in some good work with the UMP there to finish off the remainder of the push. Scary times for Vega, but they actually managed to pull through with 3 players.
That means eco territory for the T's in this round, so Vega will be off to a nice start on their CT side. And it's they lost 1 or 2 players, well 2 players, 1 or 2 is a phrase of course, did Vega Squadron, but they've got the weapons to farm some cash in this round as well, so it might not hurt them too much, and it's a reasonable chance that will be true. With 3 Glocks in this round for Penta. There is a deagle, however, onto Innocence. Zen with a P250 as well. Might make a play into underpass and try and get close. Try and pick somebody off looking through CPL. With that P250. CT's making a lot of noise on A ramp. Not afraid to... they know that Penta will be very, very ill-equipped in this round, so you also see it on Inferno. Not afraid to cut players down before they can get anything underway. Penta are taking it slow. They, I mean, again, both these teams are, if they lose this, they are out, they are done, they are jettisoned from the building, security will force them out. So, going to try and find every edge they can.
And there's already a lot of info for Vega. They pushed T-Pit. They've got Chopper just sitting there with the MP9, so he knows everything that's going on really. They know that it's either going to be mid or the B apartments. They spot a lot of players in mid here, and it's a simple job of just finishing them off. They're not putting themselves at too much risk here with these rifles. You don't want to incur too much damage, and that's a nice headshot there from HS with the P250. So speaking of damage here, Kishanda with the dink on him as well. That's 2 players dead, and potential for more here for Penta as they have picked up an M4 onto Sunny, and he's going to find himself another frag, and suddenly, with 25 seconds left, is this actually winnable here for Penta?
3 Glocks, and Sunny. They have 15 seconds to find Kishanda. The bomb's down in jungle, so he could still make a hero play. There's no time to run towards B. They both need to be on this A site, and indeed they are. Kishanda, he might stop the plant. Does he dare do it, though? He does, and oh, he can just hide. 2 seconds left. Sunny can't get there. By the skin of their teeth, Vega avoid complete disaster. How on earth did it get that far? With a deagle and a P250.
It's crazy, isn't it? And if you consider that Sunny, you know, of course he doesn't get the round loss bonus after surviving after the time, but he did, of course he did get the bomb down, and they have these situation here. Oh, sorry, he didn't get the bomb down, but he has a situation where he had the M4. It's a lot of good value there. He's got an incendiary that he picked up. He's still got a deagle in hand as well. So he's got a lot of value there that he's going to carry into the next round for his teammates to play with. So yeah, that is really scary now, because Vega don't have anything left to really play with should they lose this round.
That is a shaky one.
Quite scary.
There's no one in B and there's no one in A. I think they're going to restart the round, I'm assuming, because no one's moving on the T side. Yes, it's going to be a quick restore. No crisis. Everyone's cool, everyone's calm. 9 people have voted yes to restoring the backup. We're waiting for the 10th. It's always that one guy, isn't there? If there are 10 people, there's always like that the one black sheep. There's
Never want to be that guy.
There's 9 and then there's 1.
Well, as soon as we do get things back into action, we do have JR on the AWP, and that was something I was looking forward to seeing for Vega. I think something that could make a significant difference, as he's shown quite the... well, a lot of great plays in the past, not hesitant to be aggressive if need be, and is seemingly quite comfortable in a lot of those positions. And this is a map where on the CT side you can get a lot of aggressive AWPing going in your favor. I do wonder how his movement is as well. You know, when you consider, for example, the jump out of mid onto defense, that's something that some AWPers are very, very confident in nailing, like 9 out of 10 times, and so it becomes a very solid play as a response. Should the T side, be throwing those short smokes very early and going for fast crosses top mid, you can get punishes there, and just because of good movement. So lots of options there for JR.
Right then, hopefully this will be back underway soon. Imagine what it would have been like had they lost that round. Crazy stuff from Penta, and maybe a sign of things to come. All AKs now for the Penta team. Kashanda looks to still be rocking the MP7. So it looks like a peripheral cable keyboard. Nice stripy cable there. Almost looks like, if that was in the wild, you might think it was a poisonous animal. Yellow and black, like a frog or something.
I don't know anything about that, James. I'm from the UK. We have nothing that can kill you in the wild.
Badgers.
Well,
badgers are dangerous, Dan. They might be reintroducing lynxes. Did you see that?
Really?
Yeah, to some forests somewhere. But farmers are like, come on, man. They're going to ruin our stuff. They're going to kill our animals. And,
I'm pretty sure I saw like some form of big cat in the forest once, because back in the countryside where I'm from, there are actually some that have just escaped into this forest, and they can't find them.
Don't we have like jaguars or something?
I don't know about jaguars, but yeah, some of the.
Or what's that other super black cat? It's like really black.
Don't know.
It's not a jaguar.
I
forget what it is. It's not a jaguar.
Puma, I don't know.
Puma probably what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I doubt we've got pumas. I think we're not tropical enough or wild enough for pumas.
I have to look this up because I'm pretty sure I saw a big cat, and there was warnings and stuff, and he's like, it's the English countryside, what we don't expect to see that, but yeah, sort of stalking us from a distance. That was not too fun.
You're more likely to see wild animals as like men drunk on white lightning, which is like a 1 pound cider for 2 liters, that kind of mess. The stripes on his keyboard cable look to match the ones on his hoodie. That is impressive. Well,
that is some extreme coordination there. Not the kind of coordination I expect from the average gamer.
Mm.
You are saying that perhaps this could be a sign of things to come, having such close rounds there, and I think to expand on that, Sunny is again, the danger man. He was a guy that picked up the M4, gets a couple kills, and made that a really winnable situation. So I can't wait to see what other impact he's going to have on the game.
I can't tell exactly what fish Vega Squadron's logo is, because it kind of looks like a nurse shark, but it has 2 fins on the top.
I was going to ask you yesterday, considering you have like a big, massive sheet of just fish and various things.
I have laminated cards to identify fish in different regions, and they're all on a keyring because I've got like 8 of them.
Do you bring them down when you're during a scuba dive? You just have their laminated
I'm not that
card
lame. I'm not that lame, but it's in the hotel room. It's in the hotel room. So when I look at back on the laptop, I can identify the fish, like sergeant majors, which look like you would think it would be called like a zebra fish, but it's a sergeant major. Anyway, enough about fish. Slowly zooming in on this man's face. What could he be saying? Well, normally when I'm at home, I like to have some Rue Boys tea and the odd biscuit, but not too much because I'm counting my calories and, don't want to get beaten by the girlfriend, told off. Kyoshima the other day, he had a Diet Coke and he thought he might be in trouble, so I'm doing my best I can, but I can't resist the odd biscuit.
You look a little bit off there with the lip sync, but I do wonder actually how many people can actually lip read. Some people claim to be able to lip read. I'm not sure if that's must be pretty difficult skill to pick
animal? What is that? You see that fluffy animal thing?
No idea.
We need I think at majors we need a fluffy animal watch, right? Because I know there are a few players who bring the fluffy bits. I mean, when you play at LAN, Dan, right? Because you're playing at LAN soon in Quake.
Yeah.
Do you have a fluffy thing that you bring with you?
No. I think the first famous one was actually, for those who know who Fatality is, it's obviously been a long time since he was really in any sort of pro circuit, but he was the first, high-level professional player to actually have like a sort of mascot that he would take to every LAN. It was like a little tiger, I think, that his girlfriend had gave him, and he would put it on top of his monitor. And obviously, I believe it's... Didn't Astralis bring... They had fluffy animals for a while.
Probably.
I think Dupree... I've seen Dupree having one.
There's nothing fluffy about me then. There's nothing fluffy about me. 3-0. We are back into the game. The keyboards have been resumed. The keyboards have been fixed, rather. Not resumed. The game's been resumed. Right then. Vega Squadron. Can they get their first big defense? Big focus on the B bomb site already from Penta. The entire team is here. When do you see this at the beginning of a round? 5 people in B apartments. Almost never.
And this is kind of the thing I was talking about with Penta. They have a lot of rounds which either they're just kind of quirky rounds where they'll just throw them in and they'll abandon defaults because they think that, okay, we think there's a specific weakness against this team here, or they have a lot of rounds like that can look like this, a bit unorthodox. So quite curious to see how this goes. Hutji able to get the first kill defensively there, though he will be shut down in the end by Innocent. Great response from him. Ismir looking all over the place right now. Hard to find a good position to fight from with these Ts just flooding into the bomb site. Able to do so though, holding onto his position as the bomb goes down, and Penta, they may get the bomb down, but right now Vega are having so much time to just encroach further and further upon that position of the bomb, and indeed they will eventually eliminate all the Ts. They couldn't get into any positions.
Nice. It's cool to see that Mir survives the round as well, because he was a person you saw standing by the wall waiting for a potential plant to go down, but he didn't quite have the angle, and he could have tried to chase the kill and stop the plant, but he was aware he would be exposed to the bench area, which it's quite reasonable. There's going to be a T there, so he just bided his time, let his teammates do the work, cut them down one by one, and take the round. Vega retain the clean sheet. The rounds have been expensive for them, however, and the buys will eventually keep coming for Penta. Well, it will continue now, in fact, because obviously they're heading towards max phosphine. It's not quite there, but the plant will help them get the AKs out, and quite limited grenades. You can see the utility they have isn't spectacular. That plant is the difference between a buy and an eco here, I think. So the pressure is on for Vega Squadron, who JR's got 3,400 in bank. Chopper 2,500. Apart from that, they don't have much.
And again, the only real presence on the map here for Penta is Zen there, and he's not going to be present for too much longer. He does get taken down by Hutji there. Nicely done.
Combo.
Yeah, and I mean, again, if you look at the way Penta were on the map, they didn't have anybody pressuring anything else, making noise anywhere else on the map. No mid control, no pressure out of Palace or the T-pit area. So they've lost Zen, and they've gained more or less nothing from it. And they have 3 grenades left, James. It's not a good look.
No, it isn't. If Penta can get the bomb down at the very least, then they can buy again in the next round, so that has to be a minimum priority here, but that is quickly disappearing. The bomb is down on short. If it had fallen, well, it doesn't matter actually, if the Sonny is in the palace. He is very far away indeed. Position exposed now, and they won't get a single kill in that round, Penta. That is a big round for Vega Squadron, passing the test, and they should be putting the T side on an eco now. Because most people are on about $2,800.
That's pretty awesome. Oh dear.
Man.
Force you into the corner and then we'll bang you guys. That is fantastic.
Leave you head first against the fridge. That's not nice.
And
it's a dirty fridge as well, Dad.
And if you consider where Vega came from, again, we were asking all kinds of questions. You know, when we saw their anti-force spy rounds, anti-ecos, and it's looking very shaky, but they've really stabilized very well in these buy rounds of theirs. They'll have to continue the stat stability, though, up against Tech 9s and some grenades, as the rush does come into the A sites. Kashanda, though, with his position in the palace, that is absolutely beautiful. That should make a plant completely impossible. And the round should be really, in fact, it is almost completely, it is flawless. They only lose a bit of health, and they don't even have to use a lot of grenades. That's great.
You know what that's like? I don't know if you've seen those Resident Evil films where you go in this room and you're locked and there's just lasers everywhere and you're just completely screwed. That was what that was right there. They got hit by the lasers, man. The Sharks with lasers on their heads. 2 perfect rounds for Vega Squadron, exactly what they were looking for. Now they're sitting on about $7,000 apiece. So they have that buffer, they have that cushion that they needed. It's all good having a clean sheet, but you need some cash in the hole in case the worst happens. 6-0, a big start for Vega Squadron. Perhaps unexpected, and it continues. This is not the first time we've seen this aggression from Kashanda, but it might be the first time we see it in action, as Penta have gone here and there, but this time they've got 2 people towards that middle area. Crystal holding the line with Innocent for support in case there is a push, but Vega Squadron not overextending.
There's actually no one covering the underpass at the moment. I think maybe now JR did drop down Yeah, indeed he did. He was not covering that previously. He was just looking towards top mid, and Kashanda was looking top mid as well. So I was a bit worried that Kashanda was leaving himself open. But again, you know, Penta, we've not really seen them go for any mid takes whatsoever so far in the first 7 rounds of this half. And Vega Squadron just sitting there and getting all the information. The only thing now is that they have to make sure they're not out-rotated.
I think JR taking that shot in the underpass might have given the Ts the idea that there's a bigger presence in the middle area from the CTs, because surely JR's got to be covered from somewhere. So they instantly started rotating towards A. And now the entire team is here. It's a 4-1 setup between Ramp and Palace. Sunny on the high ground. And now there are three CTs here in tow. Chopper taken down towards CT, which is left open now. But the duels continue. JR trying to do what he can. Might have been a retake situation for the CTs. They chose to stand and fight, and now they've been forced out of the bomb site, one way or another. Yeah,
and I think with this round you can look at it for Vega in this 2 versus 4, and you can think, you know, was there a lack of patience here, because they had such a fast presence into connector and jungle that they could have taken their time, you know, getting another player to CT, coordinating their grenades in, waiting for some of the smokes to go away. And they could have, you know, operated the retake with that patience and then tried their luck. But they did try to force their way through the smokes, and it has not panned out for them this time around.
Those scenarios have been curious for Vega, because if you go back to Train, there was a time where we had a smoke execute on the site, and we had one player just on E-box on his own who just waited there and then eventually died, as you would expect him to. I mean, sometimes he gets some kills. He didn't, but their approach to smoke executes, like some teams would back off and play for retake, especially when you have like one CT in isolation. I mean, obviously, if there's someone in shadow, then he can't back off. But if you're around the connector position, then there's more than one choice for the team.
I mean, yeah, because in that spot too, it's very hard for the Ts to actually take away connector and jungle from you. And if your CT does just play to just not allow them to take CT, then yeah, you're set up to play the perfect full CT retake. So it is curious. We'll have to see how it does go in the future, though. They are, you know, it's only one round that they have conceded so far. It's a 6-1 scoreline here for Vega, as we see JR looking for the York pick on mid. But once again, you know, Penta not really putting much emphasis on middle at all so far in this first half.
Sunny's in the Palace, and there was a 2-man push from the CTs, but I wasn't able to see if they had like a pot flash and ran in there, or if they just walked in there quietly. So hard to tell if he knows if there's a presence from the CTs. But we've got Innocent with the bomb in tow, slowly walking towards A, so I would guess that they might not know that there was a push there, and the CTs retain their forward positions. So yeah, looks like a Molotov damage on the floor, maybe not flashbang. Anyway, Kashanda's here, he's got the first kill, he knows there are more in tow, they're lining up for him, but they will trade the kill.
JR's ready, they've got Chopper close by Shadow. He'll go down after a single kill, but lots of damage has been done. JR's in the perfect position now to stop any further efforts onto that bomb plant for A. The bomb's actually been flung forwards there towards the sandwich position. So it's quite the effort here for Sunny and Crystal to go and reclaim it. That will be the case though. And Sunny does pick up another kill, and JR is just still playing in the bomb site with these smokes. This is very dangerous. It's a make or break situation here for JR. Nice shot there. Catches Crystal. Oh, that's so fast, and that's exactly what we were looking at. That's exactly what we're talking about when we're bringing JR into question with that AWP. It's he's just not afraid to take these crazy forward plays.
Yeah, I actually forgot, but for those of you in GoTV, I would pick JR for Vega Squadron, and for the other team Penta at the moment.
You didn't forget James, because you asked me, and I said JR. So there you go.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Marvelous.
I got you covered.
Marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. He's like, take the goddamn timer out! Take the timer out! Vega Squadron 7-1. They have reset Penta, which is not good if you're a Penta fan. Vega Squadron running away with the first half at the moment. And there was an interesting scenario where JR, he was towards triple, he smoked himself off, then maybe, I don't know, 5-10 seconds later, the T's pick off a player towards CT spawn, which you could confuse his JR, but then he fires another AWP shot, and you know he's still in that area. So like that, you know, you need to have your communication on point to know that there's still a player in one of those positions, that area of the map. JR decimating the opposition. 1 AK for Penta, only 2 players with Kevlar and helmet in this round. The other 3 are naked.
contact play through the smoke, relying on that individual skill, relying on Sunny to get the entry. He will do so. Kashanda, though, standing by the palace, able to take down 2. That's a good consolation here. 3 versus 3 as the bomb needs to be planted. The smokes are there for cover. Oh, maybe not. That's a nice tag there onto Sunny. JR probably knows it. In comes Hutji, but he's not quick enough to the trigger. Just leaving JR once again. A 1 versus 3.
The flashbang is just good enough for the round to go their way. Sunny making it work for his team. Great entry over to the A site, but I mean, they only had that one AK man and 3 players running around butt naked, so I really didn't think they had it, but apparently they did, forcing Vega Squadron to put their hands in their pockets, money being spent, and a second sniper coming out onto Monsieur Hutji. So Vega Squadron changing their approach in round number 10. Is the comeback on? Can Penta claw back a reasonable number of rounds?
And I do wonder about Penta at the moment, because this might be the first mid-take attempt we're going to see. JR is very aggressive here. So, I'm not sure if he saw the shadow, but he's too fast anyway. A nice follow-up with the USP, as he will eventually be traded. He's done his job, though, and got some additional information. But how do they read this? Do they read this as a B or an A play? It could be either. They've not seen the bomb just yet. So the players on site will have to be vigilant.
Yeah, and the chopper is alone at the moment. Jungle smoked off, CT smoked off. I think he was, might be on the box, or maybe he was just crouched here. I was looking at the radar. Nobody in Palace for the time being. Innocent trying to pull people towards that middle area. And doing a good job of it, doing a better job, even fragging. Spots the player towards short as well. May have forced away. Maybe not seeing that grenade, but this is the time for the T's to capitalize. But Crystal's starting to look behind him. Not really sure what's going on. They need to start moving forward. Chopper is so isolated here on this A site. He needs to be exploited by these T's. Mir starting to move towards A, slowly but surely, and here comes the creep from Penta. The scope heard by Chopper. Now Mir's on the run. Now Hutji's rotating as well. That scope is enough info for Vega Squadron to try and get into better positions. And Penta are moving so slowly. This could be their undoing.
Yeah, and I love just how the patience of Chopper could just pay off massively for them, just still sitting on the site. The bomb still is committed to this A side, so Chopper could have a massive play in store. He's been waiting so long for this. Finally reveals himself, and his teammates have had plenty of time to get in position. They've got great crossfires going on. Now it's just going to be one player left, but not for too long. Sunny will fall to his doom. And at Vega, they handled that so incredibly well. Just as you said, you know, Chopper waiting there. Here's the scope. That's enough information with the time that was remaining. And again, I have to express a lot of concern just for the fact that we're not seeing really any defaults from Penta whatsoever. I think that was the only round we really saw them attempting to take mid, and I think they were probably aiming to go for a fast rush through connector with 3 players.
I wonder why they decided to go so slowly after picking a player towards A, because they've got the guy in the middle area holding down some rotations. So I don't know what their expectation is in that situation, because surely you're going to expect, well, I don't know, I mean, you might not have a rotation because the kill came in from the mid area, but it's just so slow from them. 6-round lead for Vega Squadron. Penta cannot string any rounds together. They have traded back and forth the last few rounds. And again, just one click gave so much information to the CTs, and they were brave enough to have the full rotation, abandon the B bomb site with 3 players alive. Innocent and Crystal moving towards top mid. Zen and HS are on the underpass, so they could flash them into connector later on. Perhaps they'll go for a smoke first, but they still need to emerge past this corner. There's the initial flashbang. JR ready. This is a common angle as well. You can sometimes see nothing playing this position with a rifle. Allows you to have a less common angle towards Palace as well. JR tagging. Hitting HS in the legs. Ooh, insta trades for both teams. Bomb spotted though. How much info can I take from this? 40 seconds left. Surely it's A.
Yeah, that's really good damage there from JR. Killing a leg. The T's will be starting to push quite aggressively forwards, but so will Mir, just straight through the smoke. Lovely stuff. Great sense of urgency there to make that decision. Now just Sunny left, but he's got too much to deal with, too many angles to handle, and that's going to be the round for Vega. And Vega definitely just completely outplaying Penta so far, and it's I think in part just due to the fact that Penta haven't got a lot of these defaults in their bag here for this map, and that allows Vega to have a lot of freedom on the map.
Tactical timeout from Penta, as your glorious overlays will inform you. You can see the money that they have. They are broke. They are singing on the side of the street. They need cash, man. They need anything you can give them to try and get some more rounds in this first half, because this is not looking sunny for Sunny.
Yeah, I mean, you can always see that he's left in positions where it's just too much work that could be reasonably expected, or in one of the rounds, in one of the 2 rounds they won, it was just a contact play where they were. The whole idea is that Sunny runs in and gets entry frags, and that's exactly what he was able to do. But it's not a reliable approach to your T side. Maybe you can get it, around here or there with it, but that's not going to be enough. We'll see though with this full save if they can even get any damage, because the economy is pretty awful here for Vega. That's a great headshot coming in onto Kashanda, and it's a little bit scary, but looks like Mir will patiently tap away. Although Sunny is still causing problems. How did they get so much damage? That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but the re-peak with like 10 HP is interesting. I mean, it could be. The thing is, like, it's not necessarily stupid 100% of the time. Like, if he's just running distraction to allow his teammate to peak at the same time and massacre everyone else, then there's some viability in there. But who knows what they had in mind with that re-peak in the CP opposition. Anyway, it's 10-2, so Vega not too concerned. The shark is still swimming. Interestingly, most sharks, if they stopped moving, would drown. So they pretty much have to. Well, many fish have to just keep moving.
Even when they're asleep.
Get that air through the gills. No sharks can chill out though. Chill out on rocks, have a nap, little kip. Player spotted towards the B bomb site. hutg may need some help. He's very close to this AWP, looking for the no-scopes. He will deliver. That's the bomb as well at his feet. Like an obedient dog, they continue to charge into this B bomb site. Mir holding some nice angles. The smokes will help him on the site in the windows, but there's a gap in the corner, and he's going to get swatted.
Yeah, 3 versus 3, and Crystal's taking a forward position. Zen able to make the load a bit lighter, as will Sunny. The load has been lightened considerably as now Kashanda, who's been having a pretty great first half so far, will be the last man standing, but not for too long. And we saw that hutg, that very cute, cold impression there that you're trying to get going there by the apartments. Not going to happen today, it seems.
Rashby.
No jumping ops for you, sir.
Well, that B rush has actually given them a very good opportunity to get 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Because Vega Squadron have been broken. At least 4. Vega Squadron will have a buy in the next round. They'll have a reasonable buy. But hutg and Chopper are spending $1,000 in this round. Let's see, hutg is on 3K. And I already forgot the other player. Was it Chopper? 2,300. I wonder how much they are harming their buy in the next round. But maybe it won't even get that far, because this is 3 versus 2. They've had great positioning here. This is a nice eco strat from them, but can they capitalize on this? Can they finish it off? hutg with a nice angle of the Deagle. There's a meat shield there, but it's Penta being the meat on the table, chopped up piece by piece. God damn, they were served red and maybe even blue. Jesus.
That's the one way that you actually have a favorable situation there, if they're both just standing right next to each other like that. That's insane. Such fortune there for Mr. hutg. Amazing stuff with the Deagle, and no headshots required. Just
what wasn't fortune though was the great positioning of Vega Squadron to put them in that position in the first place, and Penta just rushing into the site. Well, this not sure what to say. I don't know how much we've seen from Penta in this T half.
Yeah, well, almost no mid takes. That's still going to be a big deal for me on Mirage. It's a must. Although that said, we'll see something resembling that here. We'll have a lot of players in the underpass. But again, it's a pretty weird buy for Penta, just using all the money that they have remaining for the last round of the first half. Zen able to get himself a pick off here, and a massive presence going into connector here, but they will be funneling themselves against the rifles. But JR, absolutely great round from him. 2 kills already with that AWP, and perhaps more in store. His T's are just still standing in the connector.
Yeah, this is a pug round. HS he has an opportunity. It would be a very important 4th round, but he's got JR, who's looking for his 4th kill. Whoa. Won't get it this time.
He was going in, James.
Yeah, there's a fourth round. JR in Terminator mode, 14 kills in that half, though. It's Mir sending Penta into space with 17 kills for his team, leading the charge on the server. Only 2 of the T's in double figures at the moment, so 11-4. I think it's... I mean, it could have been worse. I don't know if you want to say it should have been worse, but it was not a good half for Penta. And it's not just about score, it's just about like performance in the rounds as well. Vega all over this man, like white on rice or brown on rice if it's brown rice, you know, if you're counting them calories.
I do wonder again, like, you know, regarding the experience of Vega, for example, JR in that situation, he was just running to chase his opponent there. And I got to saw it again on another screen here, and it's just, I think that might be just like he's just so pumped after getting a few kills, just letting it take over a bit. But now it's time to press the reset button here. We have this pistol round where Vega will engage onto the A site, and HS is just standing there doing a good job so far. A couple kills for him as he looks for more now, and still not a single member down. That is clean.
One tap, salad, as the slap chop advert goes, or infomercial. Very nice hold there. Important for him to stay alive towards triple as well, just to make sure there's no plant going down. You know, he can leave the player towards jungle to his teammates. Just starve them of money. Starve them of money. 11-5. Great play by HS. Living up to his name. So we'll see what Penta have done. So what Vega Squadron have done. They've gone for a force buy. So let's see if their forces are going to have more coordination and more success than Penta's.
I did like that Chopper didn't buy armor, so he can have more grenades. That JR has a P250, so he can have grenades. That Hutchie didn't even buy a new pistol, so he can have a grenade. A lot of teams would just get the full armor, the Tech 9s, and have 0 grenades, but the grenades make a very big difference. So looking forward to seeing how this goes for Vega with that choice for utility. Ooh, that's a good pick there from Mir in the middle area. And now he knows that he's got 10 HP, not much he can do, but he can distract them and just be presence. And that's what he's going to do.
So Sunny's in the middle of mid with nobody covering the underpass and gets killed for free. Now, in that distraction, the bomb gets planted towards the A site. Hutchie on the ramp. Mir's making his way in towards the B bomb site. It's been planted for short. We've seen this strat before from Virtus Pro with Pasha and a scout, but it's Mir with the Tech 9. There's enough damage there, but maybe with a good read, Penta dropping a smoke in connector to try and defuse the bomb, but Hutchie still on the ramp with the Deagle. Mir now makes his way. Look where he is. They're looking for him in connector, but no. Oh man, and what a 180. I didn't expect that one. So crisis averted for Penta, but they are making colossal mistakes.
That was scary. That was, and again, like a great round from Vega, the way that they try to handle that one. Obviously, there was a lot of opportunities that kind of cropped up along the way that they perhaps did not expect. For example, you know, seeing a player suddenly just sitting in middle, able to win that battle with the Tech 9, and it was really smart play from Mir again. Understanding there's more value to stay alive, to find a long rotation, and just keep the presence. In that sense,
you've got to think though that if your opponent is force buying and you're in the middle of mid and you think they might come out at top mid, but considering they need that close distance, there's a reasonable chance people are going to be in the underpass. And if you've got no one covering your back, then I don't know, man. Things seem out of whack for Penta, but there's still a chance for him to recover. They've got 6 rounds on the board. They're 5 rounds away, so perhaps they can get their heads into the game. Maybe it's simply too early for them in the day. You know, lots of gamers are late risers. I'm a morning person myself. Get up and go.
I wish I was. Some days, some days I am, and some days I'm not. But this was a cool buy, I think, from Vega to just go for damage. There's 2 ways to take that, because it did so much damage in the previous round and got the bomb down. There is an argument that some teams would make to actually go for the force buy, but there's 2 perspectives, because they've already had quite a few rounds. So the more consistent way to do it is, okay, let's just keep the pressure up, and that was a Deagle buy. They didn't get any kills, but they are going to be leading themselves into this round. Full grenades, full AK-47s, and the economy is still not, in any sense, secured here for Penta. So Vega with a great chance to take momentum should they win this round. But look what Penta are up to here. This underpass push could be scary.
I was very curious as to what HS would do with this MP9, and now we see Kashanda. Oh dear. And now you do wonder about the the MP9 buy, but maybe it was going to happen regardless. Maybe it's just not Penta's day. Mir getting picked off by Sunny, so at least that's something. hutchy checking his angles very carefully. Bench position can be quite strong. Zen looking for an opportunity in the smoke, and that is a very nice smoke from Kashanda. But Zen's ahead of it. He could be... oh, has he been spotted? I think he has been spotted. Very high flashbang. It's going to work out for him. hutchy completely exposed. His teammate behind the van can't help him either.
Chopper does take down Sunny though, so a very prolonged affair between these two sides as the smokes finally dissipate on the bomb site. And Zen, working close position, has been perhaps spotted. JR put some bullets there, tagging him in fact, and indeed it's Crystal to get the kill onto Zen. The team kill comes in, and then the trade. Kashanda eliminates Crystal. What a prolonged affair. And again, it's really interesting, the patience there from Vega. They didn't try to rush it, they held their positions and just waited to see if the CTs would overextend, and that's why that was such a prolonged affair.
Really difficult rounds for Penta. And if they win that round, they're not so far away. I mean, look at how does he not get the kill there?
That's insane, isn't it?
I don't know if it was because Kashanda crouched and he was just... I mean, maybe lost control of the spray. I don't know. Either way, it's a colossal failure in the underpass for the CT side, and now they have the money to buy though. Keeping the MP9 has allowed them to stretch their money for a buy in this round, so the AWP is out and so on and so forth. This is a crucial round now. Vega Squadron moving quickly into the A side. Looks like it might be another short plant attempt because Mir again is slowly moving through apartments.
Yeah, really scary stuff here, using the cover of smokes to get the bomb planted. But typically you'd want to take some forward positions and then fall back. They have connector, so that's actually a great place to start. They don't have to take too much more here. You can see more additional presence coming in. The challenge from Kashanda into jungle, and that will be lost against Innocent. And now the CT presence starts to emerge from the CT spawn. All of them, though. That's 3 players. So Vega Squadron was still good coverage between Connector and Pit here to try to make this defense work. It's an exposed plant, and that's going to pay off for them as we see JR just timing this to perfection. hutchy leaping through the smoke there as well. Crystal, what is he left to even do in this position? Nothing but run as he just covers his flank. But a great round, a fast round from Vega.
Yeah, and we've seen that round before from them where they're planting it for short and Mir is slowly creeping through the apps, but it seems that Penta have seen it before as well. And I don't mean the first time it was run in this match, but both times they seem ready for it post-plant and have had that smoke to put down in connector. And it's not often you see that as a direct answer to that play, so they've clearly done their study on Vega Squadron. Either way, Vega Squadron make it work. They get their entries into the site. They're not fully committed to connector in the sense that both times they've had that player on ramp as well. So there are multiple places for the CTs to defend from. And ramp is exposed. They haven't had enough smokes to cover both angles. And then you see the Ts, they put a smoke through the connector smoke the CTs dropped closer to the site and then pushed through that. So they had a 2-pronged assault. This makes it really hard for Penta to deal with. Another tactical timeout, which has come and gone. 6-round lead now. Vega Squadron moving very close to closing this one out.
And I was a bit worried for Vega, just, a mix of inexperience and so on, and with the switch onto the second half, that maybe they would not be able to find a way to continue momentum. It's one thing, sitting there on the CT side, waiting for your opponent, reacting to your opponent. It's a very different affair to force the issue onto them, and that's what's going to happen onto the B bomb site here as hutchy leads the charge with the UMP. Great weapon there with running accuracy. That's very respectable, and it's a flurry of kills as they enter the B-bomb site. An explosive start to this round, and the end will be quite horrible here for Penta as they get hunted down.
Crystal is going to be a rare item in this round, and he may soon disappear. Will Crystal become a blood diamond? Sorry. One player lurking in Palace, so surely his days are numbered. He desperately needs to hold on. Will he make the right gamble, though? Nobody at the B bomb site. They'd be out by now, surely, if they were there. So he could try and run towards it. But unfortunately, he will make the wrong play on this occasion. And now they have half the score of their opponent. Vega Squadron 2 rounds away from victory on Mirage. 2 rounds away from eliminating Penta and staying alive in the tournament.
Yeah, and this is interesting too, because it does seem like Penta are a little bit less prepared on this map, and that is one of the things that is very demanding of at any team when it comes to a major, is that map pool. How broad is your map pool? You can get into situations where you can be a little bit screwed if it isn't deep enough, and maybe this is one of those for Penta. It's hard to say, but Vega Squadron certainly with good preparation. Mir, very fast push through the smoke. I love plays like this. Very aggressive. Won't actually bite off more than he can chew, though. Does understand and recognize that essentially the play can only get so much, and he doesn't overextend himself.
Did Hutchie just get shot by a teammate, or was it from Innocent on short?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, one or the other. Not really sure which one it was, but doesn't matter for now. HS playing in the shadow position on A. There is a player lurking in Palace as well, so Penta will need to be careful. Crystal's still there, though, but he's somewhat exposed to the middle area. You can see Innocence in the ladder room, but if the ladder room crawl space is broken early in the round, then the CTs can drop onto the bricks and they can see people walking into this connector spot, if there isn't a smoke, of course, but that's not available for Penta right now. The flash is there, but Innocent manages to escape most of it. Doesn't take all of it. That's an early pick, well, a first pick for the CT side. And now things will get better for them. Innocent trying to hold down this short position, and he will do so successfully with his third kill of the round. Now he's hungry for more kills. He's got Zen for support. Looking for the ace, but he will be denied. Zen with an insta-trade. 3 players surviving, sorry, for Penta. There is still hope.
Lots of money left on Vega to buy with, though. JR sitting on 8k at the moment. A couple members, I think, yeah, a couple members were quite low, but Vega can get themselves a hearty buy. And I'm curious what they choose to do now with this round. Obviously, there's been a lot of stuff they found, that have worked for them, and one of them has been the faster plays. The A set piece executions onto the A site have been pretty good. Looks like that's what they're going to go back to in this round. Or will it be a contact play? Can't really see too many of them setting up for grenades just yet, so might just want to walk in contact style. Oh no, that's not a miss you can afford to make as Chopper goes in, but the cover is there from Crystal as it all kicks off in an explosive manner, and HS holding onto the site still, and actually Vega have been denied.
Nice from HS not to commit on the initial peak. Doesn't want to stay there too long. Needs to keep the numbers game up, so good presence of mind from him, and that will leave Vega Squadron in a 4 versus 2. HS managing to finish off that kill from the other side of default. Mir spotted, but he's not the one carrying the bomb. It's JR who's on short. There are no smokes for connector, but I'll put one down in the CPL position. I might have put them the other way around if you're going to make a play towards the B bomb site, because you can throw a flash off the CPL wall. So if somebody's holding an angle on short, they will be fully blind. Either way, he's made his way into the ladder room. Zen starting to move towards B. No eyes on B at the moment, but JR will hear this rotation. You see him moving around, and he wishes that crawl space was broken.
And this is one of those spots, too, where you have to trust your teammate here. I love how Mir was able to provide some covering fire. They smoked into CPL. They got some covering fire from Mir to allow the cross from JR. I really love that. But then you have to trust JR to be able to make an entry into the site potentially by himself. But it's Innocent as JR comes back into short to take him down in the duel. In fact, crushing Mir as well. So perhaps a late resurgence here coming in from Penta Sports as they are close to... In fact, no, they have actually crippled the money enough for Vega that they don't have a solid situation on the buy, but it looks like they're dropping an AK here. JR dropped an AK. So it looks like they're going to go for a force.
Let's see. Kashanda had 2700. Could have dropped a second AK, but he's gone for pistol and grenades instead. 14-9. Let's see what they can do with them. JR taken down early, peppered by Sunny with an AK of his own. And now he'll be looking towards the underpass position. Innocent has a gap on short, so he can cover the high ground. Sunny maybe not trusting his teammate, looking over there as well. Number of T's in apartments, and Zenny standing on the windowsill, and that is not a good start. There's nobody else on B.
Opportunity strikes for Vega, and they look to strike whilst the iron is hot there on that B bomb site, moving rapidly in through the apartments. Trades coming in though now as the CTs of Penta look quite strong here. They've actually managed to hold up some positions now around the bomb site, which will make planting pretty much impossible unless you go out and just get the kills, and that's what Chopper's attempting to do now, but he's without a teammate, and now he's without his life as well. 10th round for Penta, and all of a sudden it's a close game, and it really hasn't felt that way for the longest time.
Money situation on the T's is good as far as the CTs are concerned. But another 8K is going to be purchased, so you do start to wonder what Vega are doing with their money at this point. They'll get 2,900 for losing this round, but most of them are brought down to $500. So they've chosen to force it up. I think there's still a... Oh, I guess they're trying to break the CT money. So they've chosen to gamble. I'm going to gamble, Jim. UK reference for old people. Mir taken down. That's the AK gone immediately. The Tech 9s remain. They've still got the bomb. They've got grenades. Maybe confidence. Maybe overconfidence in their own abilities and what they can do. Now they're moving towards the middle area. Won't have a range advantage. There's nobody in the underpass for them to get close quarters. Nobody in the underpass for them to flash into connector, but they have stolen away the AK, and they move away from mid. Nice.
All the way over to A. It's going to be interesting here. There's obviously a myriad of grenades to be used for the Vega side as they ready themselves. 50 seconds, plenty of time to get in there and get the bomb down. Right now we see Sunny is just towards the window, asking questions in middle. Right now it's not too clear what's going on for the Penta side as to what Vega are attempting, but now they know. All the grenades come in, the game has been given away. But it's down to the fragging, and Sunny's got plenty of that. Almost a third for him, but Crystal will be able to finish him all off almost. It's just Chopper left, but he is not long for this world. Another round for Penta, climbing and climbing. 11 now. A mere 3 away from equalizing.
So that leaves Vega on 3,400 and so on. So, I mean, they made certain choices with the leads they have, with the cushion they have, and again, they will be, if they lose this round, they'll be at max loss bonus. So they've probably calculated how many buys will we have if we do this. All right, let's proceed from there. And this time, they will be proceeding with the Butcher buy, the Deagles. They are looking to put Penta on meat hooks, Texas style. See if they're able to do that. 3-round cushion either way. Likely to be 2. Lovely team play there, a flashbang forcing them off the angle, and they will go into that tiny crack, that 1 or 2 pixel gap, which you can get clean shots through. It's nice to see the awareness on T sides. If you look at Taz on a T side, for example, he's very aware of not exposing himself to that pixel angle for too long. Maybe you'll see that on GoTV later.
The last time they did this buy, they didn't have any success. Even 1 kill would be a better situation than that previous round in which they attempted the Deagle only buy.
Damn. Great Molotov from the CTs, just stopping Vega from boosting into CPL. And now that vent is broken, Innocent could go through onto the bricks, but he is worried about his 6, and Zen is there for support. That's the bomb taken down. Zen with the 2K, and that's pretty much the round for Vega at this point, unless something goes terribly wrong, but this is not a salvageable situation in most instances for Vega. And now Mir is alone. He's alone. No sound in space. No atmosphere. Just Mir.
So the full buy comes in. JR back on the AWP. Potentially Crystal to contend with. We'll have to see if that's going. There'll be a meeting of the AWPers. Crystal has been not too mobile. Vega looking perhaps for middle and some presence in the apartments here on the B side of the map. Ooh, an aggressive from Crystal after I said he was not mobile. Darting all the way up top mid. Misses the flick shot though. He's going back for seconds. Oh, almost lining up for him. It's a nice pick off from Crystal as he now retreats. Very happy with his work, I'm sure, as now Penta rest a man ahead.
Good support for the rifler as well. 2 people looking through the underpass from different angles in case it's required. So I think in this half, the way things are going at the moment, Sunny is a good man to watch in GoTV. He is up there at the moment with 24 kills, as is Innocent, as is Mir, who's been picked off. Though Sunny's over towards the A site, Crystal and Zen are towards B, which is where Vega Squadron might be headed. The bomb now moving into the apartments, but Zen has taken a forward position. Crystal will be the bait with the AWP. But now we've got some mid presence. Are they going to try and boost and go through the crawl space into CT spawn? Perhaps they were, but the CTs are ready. The push now coming in towards the bomb site. You see the off angle being held by Zen. This could all fall apart very quickly.
Yeah, they can't push this. It would be so scary to do so. And obviously their teammates aren't really in position just yet to help them out. So it's essentially them trying to pull rotation and threatening, because they do have Kashanda in the window position. And should they have actually, should Penta have bought the bait there and actually pushed some players from A towards B, Kashanda would have been able to get a kill, but he can't get a kill. In fact, it looks like Penta know what's up here. Able to get a multitude of frags as the entries start to come for Vega onto the B-bomb site, but they can barely get in fact. Still in the apartments is hutchie, the last man, and perhaps at this point it's all he could do to try to survive, but he can't do that. HS almost called him headshot. HS getting the kill, not with headshot. And that'll be 12 rounds for Penta now, and Vega seem to be, I wouldn't say out of ideas, but they seem to be scrambling a bit at this point as to figuring out what the best way is to approach this Penta defense.
Vega, they've had those successful A executes where they put Mir lurking towards the apartments and he came up towards short. So I do wonder if we're going to see them go back to what worked for them. Because they've only won 3 rounds. They won the first buy round, did Vega Squadron. So I would expect they'll go back and say, okay, what's worked for us in the past? Let's go and do that. Although that doesn't seem to be the case on this occasion. Kashanda and hutchie moving through the underpass. Mir JR top mid with the bomb. Chopper lurking towards Palace, but Crystal might be looking for him soon.
I like this. Very fast presence into connector. A lot you can do with this, though they do seem to be intent on pushing the entire team basically through there, and there's no smoke to cover. Innocent able to get some damage off there. Sunny tossing a grenade in. The 1-2 punch there. And that's going to be a rough situation here for the Vega Squadron side, but they have managed to take the bomb site. Oh, that's a nice shot straight in the face. Crystal with another quick one as well. Looking for number 3. Crystal. That is excellent work there with the AWP. And that's going to be another round for Penta. They are grinding hard and they're almost there.
This has really put the money in an awkward spot for Vega Squadron as well. Do they play against match point? I mean, Kanchanda's already bought up immediately, and it seems the rest of the team will buy around it. So you'd imagine that they had got the pause in there to discuss what they wanted to do, or maybe just their approach for the round. Maybe they were hell-bent on buying all the time, but they have next to no grenades in this round. JR hasn't bought just yet, though, from what I can see. Lovely play, lovely bouncing from Crystal. Bouncing like he's in an R&B video. Very happy with that.
Here's a strong chin strap, James. That is one of the strongest chin straps I've seen. I respect this.
Never tried a chin strap myself. That's what I'll say about that. Well then, Vega Squadron, with not many grenades, what is your play? I would have loved to have seen them try their play again. Even though Penta were ready for it, they still failed every time when they tried to stop it. The play with Mir coming up short through B. But maybe those times have gone. Mir now top mid on his own. It's not a nice grenade for hutchie. Not the present he wanted. He's playing it slow, perhaps looking to exhaust the utility of the CTs to make life harder later on.
It's a very tense position for both teams. Penta, the pressure's on to close the game now, and Vega, the pressure's on to not throw the game away because they had such a big lead. Perhaps that is some of that inexperience creeping on through. It's hard to say. There's a lot happening there between the 5 players. And a major, lots of psychology that goes into the game.
Oh, it's a fake Dan. It is a fake towards the A bomb site, HS and Sunny, but they need frag T side. That's a good start. Innocent and Crystal rotating immediately, and now the push comes in towards B. They will check for Zen, kind of, but they're not going to have almost any success. Kashanda finally getting the trade, but is it too late? They might even have to rotate again, but they've got no time. They can't. They've got to commit to B. There's only 20 seconds. Chopper and JR, they've cleared the A site, but he has to go towards B, slowly going through the corner, and Crystal will slowly go through his chest. 2-on-2 now, 12 seconds remain. And this is a disaster for Vega Squadron. JR losing the duel, leaving a Chopper in an impossible situation. 5 seconds, needs to find 2 kills, won't find 1. The worst has happened for Vega. How do they get to this situation?
Absolutely loved how Crystal played as well there. He got to the bomb site and he knew, he's like, okay, I know that they're in a panic. I know that they have to plant the bomb here. So if I just wait, that's the play. Get into position and wait. And that's just beautiful stuff. Really well handled there by Penta to secure it. I mean, Chopper, absolutely unreal stuff on the entries, but just didn't go far enough in the end with the time remaining. And oh, you can see just how disappointing it is for Vega. Penta, one more round. They've got so many rounds in a row. It's crazy.
Yeah, he cleared the B. Oh dear, JR. Okay, he's all right. He's all right. Cleared the bomb site, but 30 seconds left. That would have been a next level baton run. They chose to commit to B, and they didn't check the corner properly. It's like you swipe your mouse over there, swipe it back. It's like, yeah, I checked this, but you didn't really. Cost you 2 players. 1 man down are Vega Squadron at the moment, and the bomb is towards the entrance to B app. So even if they have a successful push here, someone's got to go back and retrieve it. And that's going to be JR. He might end up rotating through T-spawn to join Chopper on the ramp. Now they've taken possession of Connector. And they've had problems previously from Innocent on short B, shooting them in Connector, but Innocent's pretty far back at the moment. And that smoke will give Vega Squadron some more comfort, but what do they read into that smoke? Maybe it'll make them paranoid. Maybe they think there's more people towards A, but at this point they've got to commit to it. Flashback towards CT. There's a CT on Shadow as well, and the rotation's coming in.
So one more player to deal with, though. The man on Shadow, but the man on Shadow is nothing but a Shadow at this point. Sunny coming in to try and remedy the situation, gets himself a quick kill, then picks off another one as Chopper goes for the cross there. And now all of a sudden it rests to JR. He started the round with a scout. An upgrade, perhaps, it's hard to say, into the Galil, but now he's in a 1 versus 3 with said Galil. It's not an easy spot to be in. This is to save their tournament. All the pressure mounting on JR. There's the first peak, sent so fast. And it's going to be Penta taking this one and taking Vega out of the tournament. Very well played to come back into this. I did not think that they had it in them, but they managed to do it.
Yes, a very rough match, ultimately for all concerned. Nice patience on the retake there, the 3 versus 1. They wait for the CT rotation towards T-spawn before they start to approach, and ultimately it was too much to ask. Penta somehow making it over the line. It looks like a total disaster again with the few rounds they got in the first half. With the few rounds they got in the first half, you thought there might be some fortune in even getting that far and giving themselves that much opportunity in a second, but both teams struggling on their T side. I really wondered what would have happened if Vega had gone back to that execute where they had the bomb planted on triple and the lurker, but never happened, and they make their way out of the tournament.
Yeah, it's really crazy, isn't it? I really thought Vega were just going to storm through, and the first thing I was worried about, okay, we got that good CT half. I was worried that they weren't going to be able to convert on the T half, but again, as you said, there was a lot of rounds that really worked for them very early on, but then suddenly all the success just diminished, and the grind out of Penta, you got to respect that grind, that they didn't allow that very slim margin for error to really get to them.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at their faces on the camera there, you can see that they are clearly not happy with their performance. I mean, I don't know if they feel like they had deserved to win that the way they were playing. Maybe the panel can tell us more about what they think. Over to Paul.
Well, I guess when we looked at the predictions before the major became a reality, many people would have had Vega Squadron in their bottom 2 as one of the teams that do go home first, and they have been proved right. They are out of the tournament. They had a much better performance, but I'm sure they'll be very disappointed with how that last part of the game went down. Penta Esports making a great comeback. We've got Sponge and Moses to break down the game with us, and we'll start with you, Jason. It's a disappointing end, isn't it? Did it feel? I don't want to use the choke word because it's used so much, but that did feel a bit like that, didn't it? They almost like got so close, and then maybe the nerves kicked in?
Yeah, I mean, that word's always going to be thrown around when a game like this, a comeback like this happens. But, I mean, the reality is their style of, like, just full-on aggression in that first half, like, that it's so hard to make that work throughout the entirety of a game. And this is the thing. If you watch this game and you watch the Mirage game that Penta played against North just yesterday, you see the T-side that Penta had against North was so good. They set up the 4-1 beautifully. It had success. They switched things up to hide the fact that they were going to go into a 4-1, utilize fakes and everything. The fact that Vega was just so aggressive didn't allow them to set any of that up. They had no early success to build upon in the later half, and that was the big thing. Mid control could never be established because Vega was so aggressive. And your thought process through that stretch, if you're Penta, is just like, surely they're not going to be this crazy aggressive throughout the entire half. Surely at some point you're going to sit back, we're going to have a chance to do things, and it just never came. But when you switch things over, Vega they just kind of got shut down at a certain point. They just didn't have any entrances into a bomb site. They didn't create any opportunities or room for themselves. And then the real heartbreak, and Chad, you'll know this from playing, is that fake they set up at like towards the end of that half where Chopper goes into the A bomb site and gets 2 kills, but the play is designed to go towards B, and he's already cleared out A, but then there's just no time and you have to go for it and get shut down. That's the most heartbreaking feeling ever.
My boy Zen was the hero in that round, the one you're talking about. I actually think that Penta were their own worst enemy in the first half, because they went for very execute heavy off the bat. And if you're versing a team that you should consider yourself better than, one that you know is scrappy, especially on a map like this, you should be defaulting every round because you can take advantage of that aggression. They're going to push individually, they're going to make mistakes, and you could have actually grabbed and given yourself 4v5 situations off the bat. When they were doing what Jason was saying, you know, going like just in all-ins, and the aggression was coming out from Vega, they have all the information, right? They know what's going on. They can stack bomb sites. They have early rotations and stuff. And you can see right here, this is the inexperience. This is the emotion. These guys, you know, they were so close to taking this. In the end, it was just small mistakes. And when you play such an all-in style of Counter-Strike, such a brawl, such a scrap, where you did have your foot on the throat of Penta for a long time there, it's risk versus reward, right? And those aggressive T plays where you're pushing through smokes, you're always taking fights. That's all they did. It's not going to work if the other team can play fundamentally brilliant Counter-Strike.
All right, we're going to get more from both of you in just a moment. Sonny's waiting in the player area to join us. And a big warm congrats for you, Sonny. That's the first win on the board. I would guess, though, that was a bit too close for you.
Yeah, it was a bit too close, but I don't know. We've had some big problems here, especially against North and SK, to like play our own game. I don't know why. Maybe it's like hesitating because we are still like a bit scared to win the games and so on. But I hope this win now, when we came back after really bad T side on Mirage, I hope that this will like grow the balls what we need to win some games here.
Good stuff. I mean, we've seen you play over the last couple of months. We've been very excited to watch you and see you guys grow as a team and obviously get to the major itself. It would have been very disappointed to go home and be done after 3 games, obviously. So what do you go through and what do you talk about during a match like that where you're so far behind in the match and you've got to pull it all the way back?
Actually, I think that like obviously it's like our POV, and Vega will be Vega have different thoughts about it. But like I don't know exactly what we even tried to do as T-side. It felt like that there was like no clue. We were just smoking middle at 1 minute and rushing A without nature. Like that's something what Vega is hoping for. And like in every time out, we kind of like I don't know. We talked bits screaming and talked to each other that what the people we are trying to even do. It was just like almost like a big choke for team history so far. But yeah, like when we won the pistol round, we kind of knew that now we're just gonna steamroll them after this. Right. And then Innocent stepped up and Crystal stepped up, and Aegis and me, we had rounds, and yes, except the last round. So it was just everyone just knew that now we're gonna do it. It's like now or never.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like you're playing differently from the qualifiers and from the minor?
Yeah, sometimes obviously we can't use exactly the same stuff if even someone have like checked even one game of us, but like I think we are just thinking too much like what we should do, and so because CS is after all really simple stuff. So
Moses and Sponge are alongside. I'm sure they've got questions as well.
I mean, I just wanted to know, like, I mean, were you guys prepared for kind of that all-out aggression that Vega came out with on their CT side? I mean, you guys got caught off guard by it a couple times, and it seemed to persist throughout the half. Like, what's it like playing against so much? Like, you're always being challenged. You're like when you're trying to do things, they're always initiating some kind of a fight. Were you expecting that to happen in this match?
Yes, we expected it, and actually, like before major qualifiers, we practiced a lot against Vega, and they were like the only team who steamrolled us really hard in practice, so we just knew like what's gonna happen. But yet somehow, as I said before, we just like overthinked, because in my opinion, against that kind of style, you just hold and execute late round.
Yeah, I think that was the point you were making earlier. Wasn't
Yeah.
it,
But you guys went for really execute heavy stuff early before defaulting, so it made it really difficult. You're just going into stacks a lot of the time. But my question is, like, not having the coach here, right? Not having Nasu here, is that really affecting things? Do you think that's maybe why you guys don't have direction? Is he normally that voice that's telling you what style to play?
Yeah, it's affecting us a lot, because like now we have to do some stuff what we didn't do before. Because for example, in major qualifier we had game plan against every opponent, which was like really clear. Against Optic, it was that we will hit inside before 120, and after that we start faking outside and we go back to B. And it was like based on what he prepared for us and so on. And now we don't have anyone to do that, so it's basically like we are trying to like do it as a team. But obviously it's not that easy, because we have to focus on the game, and that's maybe like one of the reasons why we're overthinking against some teams and so on.
As a viewer just watching these games the past few days, you guys just played North on Mirage yesterday, and your T half was like much better. Obviously, you put up a bigger score, had a lot more success. I mean, from an outsider, from like a viewer perspective, playing North, getting a better score against the better team, and then playing Vega Squadron and really struggling. What are kind of the differences that you feel as you kind of climb the ranks in Counter-Strike, and now that you're competing at the major against the better opposition? What's the biggest difference from a team like North versus a Vega Squadron?
Well, obviously, if you play against North, you know that they're not gonna do like stupid stuff. So it's like easier like to play like if you're underdog, because you kind of know like how they think and what they want to do, and you know that, for example, SK and Nord, if they play against us, they try to rely like really default stuff and just like outgrind us with like afterplans and so on. But when you play against same level team in ranks like we, or online matches against lower opponents, they have like much more like, for example, one-way smokes and tricks where you can get one round, and if you play that on LAN and you just win one important round and moneyfuck the opponent, then it just can happen. So I think like if you're underdog, it's somehow easier to play against better teams, because they don't do like random stuff.
Okay.
All right, good stuff. It's great to talk to you as ever, Sonny. I'm glad you're back in the winner's circle again, and we'll see you tomorrow for day number 4. Good luck.
Congrats, Sonny. Nice comeback.
Yeah, very nice comeback indeed from Sonny and the boys in Penta Sports. They are still in the major. Unfortunately, Vega Squadron are the first team eliminated. Let's just wrap up on their performance in this major. It has been disappointing.
It's kind of what you
it's
what you expected, right? I think, like, for me, I was looking back and going, this is like 1.6 Chinese style of Counter-Strike, right? Where they just run at you and they just want to take jewels. They always want to have guns. And it's not the fundamental style of Counter-Strike which is going to win you matches at the high level, but it's exciting to watch. And from an underdog perspective, they can go back, they can address the issues, and hopefully, I had no issues with their manager. They probably need to find a coach who can show them how to play the game properly. Let's take a look at the scoreboard on the screen right now. There's some big numbers put up here. Innocent 28 for 20, Sunny 27, and everyone chipping in. Crystal 20, Zen 19, HS 18. And the same with Vega Squadron. 4 players over 20 on a losing game.
Yeah, and also, I mean, some really good ADR across that team as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly, I mean, this is the thing with Vega, is that Chad just nails it right there. They need someone to teach them how to play the game properly.
Yeah.
And like Sonny said, you know, the quote-unquote stupid plays, those work in lower levels, obviously. But they have a lot of skill. They have skill at important positions as well. You have Mir, who's showing that he can be a pretty good carry as a player. You have JR, who's very, very skilled as an opper. You have some critical roles filled with a lot of talent. It's finding a way to make it all work and find some kind of a game plan, some kind of a style that's going to be successful at the upper echelons of Counter-Strike.
Let's take a look at our MVP. It is Sunny from that particular game, the 23-year-old, putting up 27 for 20 and a 98.2 ADR on that particular game. And they're going to need to rely on him, Sponge, as well, just going forward. Yeah, for sure, right? He's the guy who we highlighted as the #1 star in this team. He has a lot of impact. He's very emotional, as you saw there, even after the interviews, harsh on himself, harsh on the team, and you see during the game. But he's the kind of guy, you know, he has a bright future, I think, and he's very impressive, you know, at this stage. So good things for him, I think. Yeah, good things indeed.
Yeah, I think there's good things for this team. It's just like worrying. You could tell how much it affected even just Sunny as an individual not having Nasu here. Like, just it's not even necessarily maybe in terms of his skill, but just like the lack of confidence in like a game plan going into it, because you don't have this coach, this guy who's put together these game plans for a long time. So that's a little bit unfortunate. They're just gonna have to find a way to get over that. But we've seen some very good things out of them despite that. It's just, you know, against the better opponents, putting together the full game, right? Like we saw one half against North, and now they need to figure out how to get the second half as well.
Well, that's been the thing with them, isn't it? They either start really strong and fade, or they are terrible early on and then come storming back.
Yeah,
it seems one way or the other.
Today it was
put
a
the two
one-half
together
game, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly. Same thing today.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. We're going to see how Penta get on tomorrow. Of course, they'll be back for day number 4. Commiserations to Vega Squadron. They do head home after the 3rd round here at the Major. Next up, another critical game. This time, another 2 teams go head-to-head to stay in the Major. It's incredible when we think about it. Next up, it's Flipside versus FaZe.